My husband, Dave, is going to buy our house for $3 million and has a big job. When we heard a lawyer was here for Tasha's inheritance stuff, Lily got really happy and walked into the living room like she owned it. Lily always asks about the inheritance, like what's happening and is it done yet, so she must have been waiting for this day. She ignored me and went to the lawyer, but I didn't stop being excited to hear what she'd say. Her greedy comments made me laugh a lot, and the lawyer looked surprised. Lily, who didn't find it funny, gave me a cold look. She said, "Do you think you'll get your father-in-law's inheritance?" I laughed at her obsession with money and her attitude. Lily then pointed to Dave, who arrived late, and said, "My husband Dave gets the inheritance." I was ready to tell her the truth. I'm Kelly, 65 years old, and I'd been a housewife supporting my doctor husband, Tosh. He always worked hard, even after becoming a director. Dave followed in his father's footsteps and also became a doctor. My husband passed away at 68, believing that being a doctor was his calling. Many people, including his colleagues, showed patience at his funeral. It was clear that he was loved and led a fulfilling life. Dave's wife seemed out of place at the funeral and even talked about her father-in-law's money. I overheard Lily saying my father-in-law saved a lot because he worked all the time. I was shocked to hear her talk about money at a funeral. I thought it was inappropriate. Dave, the oldest son, apologized to me for Lily's behavior. I told him it wasn't his fault, but asked him to warn her because many people were at the funeral. I remembered how Lily didn't help with the funeral preparations and didn't offer any sympathy. It made me upset. She always talked about money and asked things like, "Your husband had a big inheritance." Right, how much was it? She made me feel like the inheritance belonged to her and told me not to waste it. She acted like it was all she cared about. Lily often looked down on me and was sarcastic. I didn't know why she disliked me, but her comments about people's money hurt me. My son, Dave, became a doctor like his father, but Lily was obsessed with money and would call me, saying they didn't have enough. I tried to get along with her, but it was hard this time. She was after my husband's inheritance, and I couldn't take it anymore. Dave's income wasn't always steady, and we couldn't afford to splurge. Lily suggested I should work to help with expenses and buy luxuries. She thought it was ridiculous for a doctor's wife to stay at home, even though my husband provided well for us. No matter how much I advised her, she didn't listen, and our arguments got worse during the inheritance process. She kept pressuring me about it even after I explained that it takes time. She didn't seem to understand or just ignored it. I told her many times that she had no rights to the inheritance, but she wouldn't listen. I wondered how she treated Dave at home with her self-centered behavior.
If you want to listen more of the story, then please subscribe to the channel and like the video.
She even tried to take valuable things from our house, like my necklace. When I confronted her, she said we were family, so it was okay. She acted like she was entitled to the inheritance. I couldn't tolerate her actions, especially after she took my cherished necklace from my late husband. I stopped letting her into the house, despite Dave apologizing for her. I lost hope in them. She continued to harass me and badmouth me to her friends and others. She even called me the worst mother-in-law. The neighbors showed concern, but it was tough dealing with her constant negativity. I don't get why she really doesn't like me. It's giving me a headache, but the worst part was finding a letter in our mailbox. I felt disgusted just seeing it because it was already opened. When I checked, it was for Dave and his wife. Maybe Lily was trying to bother me because I wouldn't let her in. Inside, there was a credit card bill with lots of fancy restaurant and online shopping expenses. It made me really upset. I told Dave about the bill, and he seemed surprised too. He said he didn't know what was happening. It was strange, because she always talks about her money with me. I asked if everything was okay, and he said it was tough. He asked if I could pay the bill. I contacted Dave, wanting to complain, but wondering whether it was because of Lily's influence or how things work in their family. Dave said something unbelievable. I wondered why he thought I should help them, especially when he couldn't even get my necklace back from Lily. I was pretty mad, and I told him that I'd already done my part as a parent. I asked why a grown-up like me would ask his parents for help. He mentioned Dad's inheritance, thinking I should help. It felt like he was acting brazenly after causing trouble. I criticized his behavior, and I told him I was cutting ties with them. Dave didn't seem to take me seriously on the phone, and it made me really angry. After we hung up, I threw the bill in the trash. I couldn't believe Lily might have put it in our mailbox, thinking I'd pay for it. It was an unthinkable act, and it made me question her as a person. I thought about whether there was a way to get the inheritance. I looked at my husband's photo and asked myself what I should do. I was angry and disappointed with Dave and Lily, and I didn't know how to handle my feelings. I wondered if it was okay to continue with the inheritance. And I felt insecure, but I also felt like I had messed things up. And I needed courage. I hope one day that they get what they deserve for their bad behavior. I wondered where my son went wrong, and I had to deal with the inheritance by myself. Maybe my feelings got through to someone because I found out my husband had left a will and there was something written in it. After reading the will, I decided to protect myself and get back at them. I felt relieved, and I clenched my fist, determined not to let them control things. I decided to wait for the right time to take action against them, maybe because I felt better thinking about how I could retaliate for all the suffering. I completely forgot about Lily's bill. I would have thrown it away from the beginning, not planning to pay, but she must have proceeded with a reminder. This time she messaged me even though I told her the inheritance wasn't settled yet. She accused me of wanting to control everything and attacked me with her words. She also reminded me about the bill in the mailbox and asked me to pay it. Why are you saying this? Stop joking around. Why do you think you should get the inheritance? Dave is the oldest son, so it's normal for him to get it. Do they think I'm clueless? Lily scoffed with a smirk. Dave has a right to inherit because he's the oldest son, which is not wrong. Even after Lily said all this, I still haven't told them the important thing. I'm waiting for the perfect moment when they fall apart, watching for the right timing. Finally, that time came when I explained the situation to the lawyer, and after the proceedings were finished, I contacted Dave as planned. Lily came to my house with joy on her face. I left the front door unlocked on purpose, and she walked in without any suspicion. I couldn't help but smile when I saw her. I've been waiting for so long, and it's terrible that you've been hesitant to complete the procedure. The inheritance, she said. Lily, what brings you here is this, the lawyer. I asked, and she completely ignored me and went straight to the lawyer sitting in front of me. Normally, I would scold her for being rude, but this time I waited, and she ignored me. I approached the lawyer, and I was excited to hear what she would say. Next, finally, we will inherit this house for $3 million and the director's position because Dave is the oldest son. She said it greedily. Her remark was even more audacious than I expected, and I burst out laughing, holding my stomach. Her audacity and the lawyer's stunned face made it even funnier, and I couldn't stop laughing. Of course, Lily didn't find it funny and gave me a cold look. What's so funny? Are you upset that we're taking the inheritance? She said no, but why $3 million? How did you come up with that amount? Your husband worked as a doctor for a long time, and he probably didn't have time to spend money. It's obvious there's that much money unless you've already used it. I replied, genuinely laughing at her obsession with money. I chose to do whatever I wanted with my inheritance, and she had no right to complain. However, she didn't seem to like the idea of me inheriting. Hello, how many times have I told you that since you don't have much time left to live, don't do anything? Reckless, even if we're related by marriage, it's quite something to say that to me, your elder. I retorted, wearing the necklace she had stolen from me. I had no intention of letting her take anything more precious from me, and I clenched my fist. Lily pointed to Dave, who had arrived late, and exclaimed that the right to inherit belongs to my husband, Dave. Taking a deep breath, I decided to tell them the truth. You see, there shouldn't be any inheritance for you two to claim. Dave, isn't that right? Why, Mom? What do you mean? Oh, don't you have any idea? Aren't you forgetting something? I asked. Wait, are you talking about that issue? It was resolved a long time ago, wasn't it? What are you even talking about? Lily said it clearly, confused and pretending not to remember. I was taken aback by her behavior, as if she'd forgotten or didn't know about the issue she had caused. It seemed she couldn't remember it, so I decided to explain it in detail for them to understand. A few years ago, Dave had married Lily, but just a little while before that, he was already married to another woman and had built a family with her. Despite having a child, he neglected his family to be with Lily, and they eventually got married. The truth came out when Dave came to Tosh, unable to pay a loan or provide child support on his own. I never thought you would do this. Tosh said. Dave replied that I had no other choice if I wanted to marry Lily. Tosh was upset and said, "What are you saying? You're the one who did it wrong, even if you're my son. Don't expect me to pay for your mistakes. Take responsibility and sort it out." Dave then made an audacious remark, saying, "Why don't you help me a bit as a doctor? You are constantly working and don't have time to spend money, so you must have some to spare." Tosh was furious with Dave's attitude, and when Dave started making excuses about needing money for their wedding and being overwhelmed with their new life, Tosh decided to prioritize his grandchild over Dave's mistakes. Tosh said, "Fine. I'll pay on your behalf. There's no need for my grandchild to suffer because of a terrible father like you." Dave tried to defend himself, but Tosh made it clear that he wouldn't support Dave in any way from then on and that Dave shouldn't expect any inheritance. Dave might have thought Tosh's words were just in the heat of the moment, but Tosh, believing that someone who abandons their family doesn't deserve to be celebrated, didn't attend Dave's wedding and didn't offer any support. Dave tried to persuade Tosh, saying, "Dad, let it go. In the future, you'll rely on us for care, right? We are family, so try to compromise a bit." Tosh fondly replied, "No way, why would I bother with someone like you knowing that Dave knew about the inheritance?" Tosh made sure it was written in his will that everything should go to his wife and grandchild. At the funeral, the lawyer revealed the contents of the will, and Dave and his wife were shocked. Tosh spoke to Lily and asked for the necklace she had taken from their house, which she claimed was an advance on the inheritance. Lily reluctantly returned the necklace, and Tosh emphasized that you have no rights according to the will to give it back. It was a gift from my husband to me. Lily was unhappy, but couldn't say much in front of the lawyer. Dave and Lily left, and Tosh felt a sense of triumph. After that, they never contacted Tosh again, and the inheritance procedures were completed smoothly. Dave and Lily seemed to have a big quarrel, and they were on the brink of divorce. Tosh received a letter from Dave's ex-wife along with a photo of his cute grandchild, thanking them for being wonderful grandparents. Tosh felt guilty but was also happy that the grandchild was growing up healthy and living happily with a new family. Tosh read the letter in front of his husband's altar and felt a sense of contentment despite the disappointments with Dave.